walking across the road and going right into that golf course with the golfers right on the course. But they can get in that brush and there's no downside for them.
Well, you know, and that's what we're talking about, you know, I'm not gonna tell, you know, a golf course how, or any, I'm not even gonna tell you how to manage your plants and things like this, okay? I can make suggestions, and there's ways to minimize it and stuff, though. My dealings in the past with golf courses is they like coyotes because what eats their grass and their turf? The rabbits and stuff, so, you know, so you know, I don't know, I guess I'm at a loss, because
Well, and I mean, I'm the crazy woman that 11 o'clock at night is running down the street screaming at the top of my lungs at my
And I can
neighbors.
vouch for her.
And you know, I'm out there and I can look out my front window at 4:30 in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon, and they're standing this close to my window in my walled courtyard.
Have you hit them with the ammonia yet?
I've gotten close,
Oh.
but unfortunately,
Okay.
you know, I usually have a dog right behind them, and
Yeah.
the dogs have gotten it. but-
Well, I was hoping you weren't gonna tell me that 50-50 didn't work, because I was gonna, oh, crap, back to the drawing board,
Well, it
you
makes
know,
me absolutely
right.
sick when I'm spraying it, but, you know, I mean, I get my dogs because they're chasing the coyotes out of the yard too, but, you know, they're still there every single day they're in my yard.
What's in your yard?
It's a pass-through, there used
Oh.
to be, and they pass right through.
That was gonna be my next question, what's on the other side of your yard is?
Yards.
They're going through there for some other
Oh,
reason.
right. But it's just, I mean, it's their path now, and they come around, and they come off the golf course, they come through the neighborhoods, they come through my yard, go out, and go back right onto the golf course.
Chris? Sounds like a good place to set a trap, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, except though that, you know, there are those issues, and, you know, there's one other thing, and if anyone can figure this out and stuff though, they make these motion activated sprinkler heads. They work very well in the wintertime to discourage wildlife, you know, animals that don't want to be wet because it's cold out, okay? If someone can figure out how to get diluted ammonia in line, I know you've seen those, you know, like they spray the weeds with that stuff like this, but the nozzle's not the same, so that might be, you know, an opportunity for, you know, you don't even have to be there, you know what I mean? You know, that they come through and they get sprayed with that, and then might be an option. So, I'm sorry, this gentleman.
I was curious, it might be more for the police department, but super soakers are nice, non-lethal, and I'm not suggesting that lethal's obviously going to be legal, but is there another power level up that's possible, a paintball gun, a slingshot, something that maybe more than a 20-foot range, so maybe get the idea, hey, you need to go somewhere else?
Right, well, this model shoots 20 feet. There's ones that shoot 40 feet or better,
Yeah.
you know, and you can make your own high-powered, you know, air-injected squirt gun and stuff like this. I'm not familiar with the town ordinances. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Projectiles?
The town ordinance says that you cannot throw, you cannot shoot an arrow, you cannot discharge a weapon. There's a town ordinance, but there's also a state statute that if you discharge a weapon within the town of Paradise Valley, it's a class 6 felony. So the one for the arrow, as long as it stays on your yard, you're safe. But as soon as it leaves your yard, whether you miss the coyote, it ricochets off the ground, or it leaves that boundary that's your property, now your name's on it. So now you could be cited and charged under that town ordinance.
I actually mentioned earlier, I mentioned paintball gun or slingshot, something like that.
Paintball gun, there's no town ordinance against a paintball gun, but it's still discharging a weapon because there's still force behind it. So it's the same exact thing. Yes, sir. For me or Game and Fish?
I just want, I came here with one thing in mind. We're gonna talk about the golf course. I've heard enough about coyotes up to this point.
Okay,
The only
It's
thing
not only
coyotes
about-
are good for, I got 7 of them in a coat. Now, let's get at the meat of the situation. Are they stonewalling us over here at the hotel, and their lawyers are gonna outlast our lawyers? What's happening?
All right, sir,
Okay.
we'll deal with your question a little later. Is there any other questions for these gentlemen from Game and Fish?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
We happen to be in an area that's a pathway, vacant land, so we have lots of coyotes. We them every night. What I've just learned, and I'm sure this is true maybe in various parks, is there's what they term, the landscapers term a killing field. So this is where the coyotes go every night, because the people that live at this house are there maybe 1 or 2 times, 3 times a year maybe. So they know it's a vacant backyard, that they can just go on to this turf area, and I guess they do their killings there. Is there something that we can do then, if we're, once we find these little killing fields, to deter, well, first of all, does it help to deter, or is it a good place if we're killing them just in this area? Or do we put some ammonia or something around there so that breaks up their killing area, and then they'll give us Huntsville or something to do it? I don't know, but I do now know where they're taking it. Does it help to get rid of those places?
Probably not, if if this is in an area that's not bothering people, you know,
It's
and,
not, it's a person's beautiful home who's not there, so they're just jumping the wall and killing the animals in the backyard.
yeah, and I've never really heard of like a killing field. I mean, are you talking?
That was the landscaper.
Okay, are you talking about hearing like a lot of noise coming
No,
from
the
there?
landscaper found our puppy's collar, and I know that the dog was not killed there because we were right there. when the
Right,
dog was
okay.
getting attacked. So, but 2 weeks later, she found it, she brought it to me because it had her number, and she said every week she takes carcasses away from this area.
Okay,
So and she called it the killing field. So I know this is not unusual. This
Right.
is probably happening throughout the, but hearing what you have to say, I'm wondering if we displace this area, does it help or does it hurt?
what you're probably dealing with, and there's a couple things. Within a coyote's given territory, there's probably a dozen or more places where they can go and feel safe, bed down for the day and all this stuff. So certainly, and we've seen this a lot with bobcats, finding a home that, you know, is from, you know, part of your resident or something, is raising their pups there and stuff. So it could be an area that has, you know, water source. Nobody bothers them, you know. Where their pups can be safe from other coyotes or other predators, you know, there's fenced-in walls, the pups can't get out, you know, so mom's not chasing pups around, and likelihood is they're bringing food back for young to eat there and stuff, though. Or, you know, even just for the rest of the pack where no one's going to bother them. Unless there's like a large amount of food there, you know, like a lot of rabbits and things like this, wouldn't be necessarily
Yeah,
called.
they're bringing in their food.
Right. So again, it's just a comfort level where they know no one's going to bother them. They can eat in peace. So my suggestion would probably be not to disturb that. You know, I mean, but it really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference. They'll just find another place to do that. So, I'm sorry. You had a question.
I think many people here just want you to be aware, as especially help out the situation.
Mhm.
With the change in the golf course, I mean, we have raised the site up to our balance.
Mhm.
There's cannabis everywhere. I've lived here 30 years. I've lived in the home 15 years. I've never seen anything with each other.
Mhm.
The behavior is so impressive by these guys. And some of them stick their head in the back. When my daughter's standing right there. I've had them surround me when I've been walking with them. And I do all the things you say, but it's not so bad. I don't think you get what's going on. So I just want you to know that this is a not good
Okay.
literally a long time, I've never seen anything.
Okay. Well, and, you know, I do understand, and we've dealt with some issues, Cortavella or something up there, one of the condo associations up
It's
there.
right against
Yeah.
the golf course.
Yeah. And I think this could just be an anomaly with what happened with the golf course. So I'm saying, there was changes, okay? Golf course was dirt and stuff though, the rabbits had to go somewhere, you know, and
We
then,
have weeds this high.
right, well, no, now it's changed. Now the golf course is back, there's green grass out there and stuff like this,
It's
you know.
gotten worse.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
There's more rodents and raptors and eating to Mariana's eating.
Okay. Okay, well, again, that's not something I can directly address. I'm not a policymaker or
You
something.
need to know
Right.
how bad it is.
Okay.
This is not an isolated situation.
Okay. Well, let me just kind of put it in perspective. And I think if we get involved as an agency, okay, we come in there, our policies state that we are going to react when there's a report of aggressive behavior towards people, okay? And when that happens, we're killing coyotes. We're not, unless you can tell me that a coyote was missing a tail and missing an ear or something like this, we are sending in the hired guns to come in and kill coyotes, okay? If we go against our own policies, we are subject to litigation from people like Earth First and Defenders of Wildlife, all these agencies that we're under a microscope when we do this. Unfortunately, to be proactive and do removals, well, although that sounds great, it doesn't affect things long term. Okay? Coyotes are there for a reason, and coyote behavior is because of a number of factors, golf course problem likely being one of them. Okay? If we increase the prey base, you're going to have more coyotes. Okay? But coyotes, as a large number of coyotes, is going to affect the prey base. What I'm asking is that we don't add to that by keeping our pets safe, by not adding another food source, okay? So that it is more of a natural environment. Coyotes will affect that prey base, and when there's less rabbits and less rodents and things for them to eat, they're going to push them out. Okay, so these things do go up and down. Okay, so and I am aware of it. Okay.
Did and excuse me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say that removing a coyote doesn't solve the problem?
It removes that coyote. It removes the problem.
It removes that coyote.
Right.
It doesn't remove the problem because of their territorial nature.
It depends on what the problem is.
Well, an aggressive coyote, 7 coyotes in this lady's yard.
And who's to say
three
that?
of them,
Right.
kill 3 of them, 5 of them, whatever. Other coyotes are going to go because the attraction is still there.
Right.
The cover is still there. All the stuff.
Right.
Rabbits are still there.
Killing coyotes is a temporary fix. You know, it'll be, you know, whether we got the aggressive animal or aggressive animals and stuff though, who knows? You know,
Have you
like,
ever looked at a spay and neuter program like a TNR, anything like that?
and we haven't seen the research done on that and stuff though, and it's, you know, again, you're dealing with the same number of coyotes, okay? Okay, if you're dealing with a territorial coyote or coyotes, you know, whether they're able to breed or not, you're dealing with a problem for 7 or 8 years at least.
But if
Okay.
they can't breed, don't the numbers go down?
Well, you may have other breeding animals out-compete those animals and push them out of a given territory. If it's a good territory, there's competition for it. If there's good food there, other coyotes want to come in there. That's why they have those other coyotes, to keep other coyotes out. Okay?
Right, but the fact that it's spayed or neutered doesn't remove the coyote and doesn't push them necessarily out.
But it may change that animal's behavior.
But it
Okay?
may not.
Isn't it like a feral cat? They're territorial. When you take feral cats out of their neighborhood, more are vacuumed in. A feral community that's spayed and neutered will actually keep the other feral cats. So you could have 20 feral cats. You spay and neuter them, they will not accept any other outside ferals. The colony stays that finite, and you don't have this vacuum. Right now, we have this huge vacuum because we have pups, like 16 at a time,
Right.
being born, and they're now breeding, and they're now breeding.
But you're
they
dealing with,
accept themselves because they're a pack.
well, they're not producing, well, these aren't true packs though. These aren't animals that are together just because. These are family units, okay? And there's a social structure. And that social structure is based on the behavior of those animals, okay? How many people have dogs that are non-neutered, okay? I have 2, and it's a pissing contest, okay? You know,
You shouldn't.
okay. But anyway,
Anyway, it's irresponsible.
my dogs are in my yard. My dogs are not out of my control. And my vet actually recommended that my adult male lab not get neutered. They're going to be on the chopping block, don't worry. But he's just now 2 years old. Without that testosterone, they're smaller. There's more potentials for hip dysplasia and all of other problems. What I was told. Okay, so I'm going by a vet. Okay, but we're talking. I know. Okay, but we're talking about testosterone. We're talking about aggressive animals. We're talking about aggressive males holding that territory. Okay, I don't know that is true or not. Okay, my guess, or based on my experience, is that you mess with the because why do you neuter an animal to lower the aggression in some cases, other than population control. Okay, right. But you change the behavior of that animal can be dethroned, so to speak, is my guess, is my thinking, okay? So I, it's possible, and there may be some, if you want to do research on this, it might be an idea.
I was just gonna say, I feel like you're bearing the brunt of a problem that you can't solve. So I apologize for that. But we've lived on the golf course for 15 years, not as much as you have. Sorry.
Is this a question?
Yes, it's a question. Well, a compliment and a question.
Okay,
And then-
yeah, because I really just want to hold.
No, I understand. Got it. So I like to be informed, and you've informed me, and I appreciate that, because now I understand that you're not the solution to the problem that I think many of us came here to try to solve. So that's great. I do have a question, though. We live on the golf course, obviously, and when you said that they're not nocturnal, the coyotes, I also know how to say coyotes now, because I used to say coyotes, but I guess that's wrong. So we see them during the day, but we hear them at night. Not every night, but many, many nights, and they're howling and they wake us up, and it's